Wait, I'm -1? How does that work? Oh, I'm so sad.
That's unlucky, bro. Yep.
No!
Oh, one tap. There it is. And the plant. We love that out of you.
This is rough.
There is nothing quite like the feeling and sound of typing on a custom mechanical keyboard. So to talk more about this enthusiast paradise, we sat down with none other than keyboard maestro Taeha Types. We chatted everything keebs, from customs to Wooting, sliding into Tfue's DMs, and even his goal of owning a $5,000 bidet. Oh, and we also played some Counter-Strike. So you have that to look forward to. It's weird because I've watched your content for years, and so like, Chad, right before we loaded in, like just before we went live, I heard him typing, and I said to him, I heard that ASMR, and I was just like, oh, it's just like a Taeha stream. God damn.
It's also weird because I've also seen your face for years.
But yeah, your switches sound a lot nicer than mine. You're a very polite fellow, so I don't imagine you're gonna like shame me live. But I get shit all the time on stream because I run.
Okay, that's a custom.
It's a Polaris.
No, that's still a great keyboard.
It's a great keyboard. The thing I get shit is that I use clicky switches. So I use Kale Gold Speed switches. And my chat
Gold speed.
Yeah, my chat just like roasts me because like whenever I'm playing CS:GO, all you hear is like and not in a good way.
What do you like about gold speeds?
I like the speed switches because they're just like a short actuation. I never really bought switches for typing. I really just wanted good switches for gaming. Like that's really all I cared about. There's something about a clicky switch that just like has like the soul of mechanical to me. You know?
No, I get that for sure.
You know?
Have you tried a nice linear build? No. I guess hard to say.
Hard, no.
I think that's like the turning point for a lot of people. Everyone dismisses linears.
Yeah.
And then you feel that nice first well-looped linear build and you're like, ooh, this is nice. Have you tried other clickies?
I have, but they were worse than this. So like I have used MX Blues.
Okay, yeah, those are shit.
My then girlfriend, now wife, almost left me when I was using MX Blues. Like she was ready to actually like end it all. Like she drew a line in the sand. How would you sort of describe the kind of content that you make, like the kind of content creator that you are?
Oh man, that's like an existential question right there.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I guess for the past 3 years, I've just been trying to cover anything primarily within the custom keyboard space. So I don't really deal with pre-builts. I always get asked about like a certain pre-built, but honestly, like I know nothing about pre-builts. I exclusively focus on the more custom scene. With a, I guess, slightly heavier focus on the more premium and kind of high budget end. But these days I have been trying to branch out. Obviously, there's only so many people with that much disposable income to invest into nice luxury keyboards. So I've tried to do more educational content, just like lifestyle, I guess, general desk peripherals in general. I've like tried vlogging, gaming here and there. So just dabbling in a lot of different things at the moment.
How is it that you got into keyboards? Like, what is it about keyboards that sort of grabbed your heart?
So initially, when I was in college, I used to be a software engineer, so I figured I'd be typing away for corporate for the rest of my life. And I built my first like nice custom PC freshman year of college. And that's when I kind of asked my friends who had already done that in the past, like, what's a nice keyboard to supplement this? Because you know, I'm gonna major in software engineering and code for the rest of my life. So they introduced me to some models and the subreddit r/mechanical keyboards, and it just kind of went downhill from there. But on the other side, I've always had an interest for anything regarding like dexterity. So like I grew up trying to be like a speed Rubik's cuber. I like grew up doing magic and like learning sleight of hand, and like typing was always one of those things that, not that I took pride in, but like something that I cared about. Like I've always been a touch typist for as long as I can remember. I learned pretty early on as a kid. I would say it's almost becoming a lost art.
Really?
Like kids these days don't grow up typing on a keyboard. They're swiping or like on a touchpad keyboard. And the Apple just released their AR VR thing. Like,
yeah,
there's no typing in that. You're just pinching.
yeah, and soon AI is you're just gonna say things, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Say out loud. You know what I mean? So, do you want to play some? CS:GO?
Oh god. Sure, I'm
You
down.
want to play some CS? Let's do it, bro. When is the last time Taeha sniped?
I did hop into a custom with friends maybe like half a year ago, but I got 360 no scope live on stream. I have not fired it up since then. I have retired.
Still healing, eh? Still healing.
I've been traumatized.
Yeah, I feel that.
CSGO.exe is not responding.
Uh-oh. You can load back into the game. It's okay.
Has the whole hacker situation gotten better?
It definitely has. We are not playing a prime game because this is not ranked. We are playing like unranked. Do you have like a dream like streamer, personality, pro player, content creator, whatever, that you would love to build a keyboard for?
Oh yes.
Yeah?
Lots.
Lots?
I guess top of the list would...
Top of the list.
I mean, I gotta say Faker.
Oh yeah? Why Faker?
Just Korean pride. I mean, jokes aside, I mean, I also I avidly played League growing up. Like in my books, he's like a Michael Jordan in my books for
Fair.
esports.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah, Kenny S.
Kenny?
I loved watching Kenny. Like back when I was serious about CS, I would always bet skins on Kenny.
Oh,
Kenny's team. Regardless of whether his team was good or not, I would always bet my skins on Kenny S.
Honestly, man, it was a surefire, like it was a surefire thing back in the day, man. Like a lot of people, you're passionate about a hobby, you're passionate about this thing, and then you sort of, at what point did you kind of decide, like, you know, hey, I kind of want to make content about this?
It was honestly a mix of being at the right place at the right time. I just kind of got in early where there weren't many educational guides regarding how to even participate in the hobby. There were maybe like 5 content creators at the time that like exclusively did keyboard focused content. So I have always been a photographer my entire life, but now there's been a shift towards, you know, video content. So I wanted to get some video practice in. I bought my a nice video 4K, like 4K was new back then. So I got a nice 4K camera, and then I figured I didn't want to film myself. I have all these nice keyboards. Maybe I'll just like film myself typing away on my desk and then like learn the whole pipeline of how to make content or video content, like color grading, lighting and all that. So people just naturally got interested in what I was doing. And then there was tons of questions about like, oh, how do you do this? How did you get this sound? How do you build this keyboard? And that's when I kind of figured, you know, maybe I should try live streaming this process so I can answer these questions live instead of having to respond to people all the time. And then it just kind of organically grew from there.
Do you think there was a moment when you sort of realized to yourself, like, shit, like maybe this could be my thing. Like this could be like an actual life detour that I actually make and become a full-time creator?
Yeah, I think it was once I started to land collaborations. Because I kind of knew that just by me doing keyboard, I don't think I'll never be like hitting the top streamer numbers, right? But if I can somehow captivate this esports audience that I'm somewhat familiar with and already exists on Twitch, you know, there might be a path of avenue for sustainability there. I think in the community, some people, in terms of timeline, they refer to it as a post-Tfue and pre-Tfue.
Interesting.
Because my collab with Tfue,
Yes.
that happened January of 2020, which is like right when everyone was starting to take COVID seriously.
Yeah.
So it was a combination of Tfue spreading awareness of custom keyboards, and then everyone was at home because of the pandemic. So yeah, it was like a double whammy almost. So how I slid into Tfue's DM, there was drama with a mod. I'm guessing he's an ex-mod. I don't know if he still is. It's resolved. I talked to the guy. He's a very nice guy. He just was uninformed at the time. But one of his mods caught wind of the hobby early and also started to offer like build services and building keyboards for people. I don't know how it came up, but someone told me that he basically had sold Tfue like a tofu build for like $800 or something.
Ooh.
And I was like, I just called him out. I'm like, this sounds a little sus.
Yeah.
Like, for anyone who knows what the Tfue keyboard is, like, it shouldn't cost anywhere near that much, no matter how you spec it. And then I guess Tfue saw it, and that's how I slid into his DM. I'm like, yo, I'll do something much better than this. I'll show you something that's worthy of this price tag. And then the rest is history. Yeah.
Was it sort of like overwhelming? Like, was it sort of this thing where you were just like, holy shit, like this was a really good idea? Like,
It was for sure overwhelming. 'Cause I'm also a very introverted guy. Like I honestly chose the wrong profession. I hate being on camera. The reason why like I got into videography and photography was so that I can be behind the camera. Like I love the process of creating videos, but I don't like being the subject. And then just kind of overnight, people recognized my face and who I was, and I was like, okay, I guess I gotta do this now.
was it scary quitting your job, or was it one of those things that you actually just sort of felt really confident in? You were just like, no, I really want to do this, and had, you know, you weren't really angsting about it?
No, I mean, it definitely was scary. It also almost cost my relationship. We're now married too, but something similar, yeah, because I would basically work my software job during the day.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, it was just all keyboard grind. I was like legitimately trying to grind, growing my numbers on Twitch and on YouTube. We were long distance at the time, so that's kind of why, you know, I couldn't really focus as much as I wanted to on my significant other at the time. And I figured I'm alone, might as well try to see where this goes. My parents surprisingly took it very well, because I didn't even bring this up to them until like I had a sizable paycheck that I was like, you know, I'm not going to be making as much initially as a software engineer, but I can at least like pay the rent, you know.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, so it was a mixed bag during then, because numbers, I mean, no one knew that numbers were going to go up from COVID, but I was like, oh crap, did I make the right decision? COVID is hitting, and now yeah.
My goodness.
My goodness, I just got flashed. This is just gonna be spectator simulator for my viewers. That track fire serpent. My goodness. Oh! Oh, NT. Do you view your skins as a legitimate form of investment?
I do. Yeah, I've spent a pretty penny on my CSGO skins, and I have made a pretty penny in return, actually.
You like daily cost average skins every week?
I used to when I bought more of them. Honestly, I did.
Oh,
now
wow,
I
okay.
actually used to. Nowadays, not so much, just because I like haven't bought a skin in a long time. So I was gonna ask you about because we have merch, as you know, because you were...
Yes, I wore it on stream.
Yes, you wore it on stream.
Very comfy.
That's awesome to hear. Your merch is sick, and our graphic designer who designed our merch told me to tell you that your merch is extremely cool.
Thank you.
Which
Wait, I need to
is.
send you some. I don't know if you...
Oh, bro. Bless.
I'll DM you afterwards.
Please do. I was reminded of this today when I was going back and I was watching our offbeat, the ASMR vinyl record that you made. So I have two questions. One, what was the idea for that, right? Two, how does one go about like making a vinyl record of just like anything they want?
Yeah, so a friend of mine in the community hit me up saying that he also has a friend, and his business revolves around making vinyl of just like not necessarily music, but like eccentric soundtracks. So one of his best-selling records is just background noises of people dining on a train. So he figured, you know, why not put out a vinyl of just like typing sounds? I honestly wouldn't recommend buying it, because it's not like they were recorded in a studio. It's literally just recorded from my like bedroom.
Yeah.
So the audio quality is absolutely terrible. But I mean, it was just a cool thing to do. We only made like 500 of them. It's just like a nice, quirky, weird thing that we figured, you know, be a fun thing for people who was interested.
Customs are becoming like much more sort of like democratized. Like they're becoming easier to get your hands on. The instinct is to say that it's like sort of a good thing. You know what I mean? Like it's great, it's good. Customs are becoming more accessible, more people are buying them. They're also becoming a little bit cheaper for better value. Do you feel that like it's sort of a double-edged sword? Like, do you feel like sort of customs becoming, customs, right? Like things like GMMK is becoming much more prevalent as sort of like taking away from like the sort of OG custom market?
No, I don't think so at all.
Okay.
I think like the biggest thing that I've tried with my content is to just get everyone to think more of their keyboard as something to invest in.
Yeah.
And like as like memey as like the gaming side of it can be, like I think a rising tide lifts all. So any exposure for just improving keyboards to any degree, I think it benefits the industry as a whole. I would love for these big brands to put out better keyboards and stop trying to fluff up like poorly built pre-builds as like something nice and actually start paying attention to it. It's so easy for us to drop like $1,000 on the next phone, which honestly, I would say the majority of us don't do much on our phones to warrant upgrading every year. But like you mentioned, like a $200 keyboard, everyone's like, no way. But like you probably spend as much time on a keyboard as you do on your phone. If some people it's more. I think that's one thing that I'm realizing, like the older I'm getting, okay, I'm not that I'm old, but like as I am maturing more, like I think it's important to invest in the things that we actually use a lot. I say this like jokingly to a lot of people, but like one of my goals one day is to like own a $1,000 bidet or like a $5,000 bidet. I don't know. Like it's something that we use so much. Well, okay, maybe not America, but like it's a tool that you get a lot of use and benefit from. But we've just kind of been conditioned by, whether it's like mass production or whatever you want to call it, to just kind of consider it as like a generic commodity.
Do you have a favorite Switch?
Favorite Switch? Yes.
You do?
My Desert Island Switch, or if I could only use one for the rest of my life, it is Topra.
What is it about the Switch you love so much?
It's kind of an in-between a mechanical tactile switch and a membrane switch. I know membrane is kind of memed on, but there's something about that membrane mushiness that is like comforting and nice. It's comfortable, it doesn't fatigue. But I think it doesn't quite have as a tactile response as many people would like. And they also sound nice. Like a lot of people chase that thocky sound profile.
Yeah.
Like the quintessential thocky switch is the Topra switch.
I'm buying off.
Oh.
Yeah. No head armor. Let's send it.
Oh, one went inside that room.
Ladder room? Okay.
Oh my god. He's hopping from there.
I get him? Nope. Now I did.
Oh, 1v1. This skin is 10k, what?
Oh, I have to reload too.
Nice try.
I hear these days that like hot swap is like the wave. Like everybody's doing hot swap, or at least a lot of sort of like the average consumers are. And obviously now when you order stuff, like GMMK makes it super easy to like order what it is you want. Do you think there's something sort of lost in the old ways?
Lost.
The old ways.
Maybe just like a tiny bit. Like there is something fun about the soldering aspect. Technically speaking, that is probably the hardest part of a build. But hot swap has gotten really good nowadays. Like I build hot swap all the time now. It was a little finicky back then, but it's hot swaps. Everyone has hot swap now.
Okay.
I don't think it's any more like better just because you soldered a build. That's a pretty elitist mindset to have, I think.
Yeah.
There is something to be said about the fact that you soldered your own switches onto a board. I have a question for you. Do you think there will ever be customs allowed on major like competitions?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because that's been one of my biggest roadblocks. Just
That's
like sponsorships.
Yeah.
They just have, they're just bound by peripheral contracts.
It's a really tough one. Because the issue is not even so much checking people's keyboards or, you know what I mean? Like, are you cheating or whatever? Like, it's not even so much that. Peripheral sponsorships with teams are a big thing, right? If G2 is sponsored by Logitech, they want their players using Logitech keyboards on the major stage. When that camera pans over Nico's desk, they want people to see that there's a Logitech on that desk, right?
I've also seen some players use customs. So like, how does that work?
It must depend on the team, right? Because maybe if you're a team that doesn't have a peripheral sponsor, right? You don't run into that issue, obviously, right? Like TSM has a Logitech sponsorship, or they did, I don't know if they still do, but like had a big one, right? And G2, I think, still has a huge Logitech sponsorship. Other teams have Razer sponsor. They have to use that specific brand. But if you're a smaller team who doesn't have a peripheral sponsor, then...
Wait, I'm -1? How does that work? What? Is it because I DC'd?
Oh no, it actually probably is. Yeah, it probably is actually.
I see. Oh, I'm so sad.
That's unlucky, bro. We're all getting rolled. It's 14-1. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm not for one more.
One more. I won't subject you to more than one more.
No, I won't subject you to this.
No, it's fine, man.
I also saw the video on that you guys did on the Wooting 60HE.
I'm gonna ask you
this
about
week.
It. Yeah, I was gonna ask you about it.
Will that ever be like a sanctioned keyboard? Like even if you have a peripheral sponsorship?
It's interesting, right? Because that's a keyboard. I mean, have you used a Wooting?
I actually have not. It's been on my list. But I mean, I'm familiar with analog switches.
Yeah.
And I do know their applications.
Yeah. So then the idea then to you, like, because you obviously have a immensely better technical understanding of this than I do. Like, I have heard pro CSGO players have told me that the keyboard feels like a cheat code. They have said that when you are counter-strafing, specifically in CSGO, where obviously counter-strafing is very important, the tightness of the movement, they have said it feels actually like objectively easier. Like I feel like I'm cheating when I use this keyboard. Do you think that that's placebo, or do you think that there is actually like a technical grounds for that? I'm genuinely asking you. I don't know.
I think people underestimate how like sensitive your fingertips can be, and just like responding to that. I don't think it's placebo, but I don't think just because you switch to a analog switch that you'll necessarily perform better.
If it ever comes to light that there is actually like, you know, a demonstrable competitive advantage to using the keyboard, I mean, if you're G2 and you're like, look, and Nico is like, guys, like, I'm trying to win a major here. You know what I mean? Like, let me use the keyboard I want to use, right? Like, it's kind of tough you to look at it and be like, I'm sorry, man, you got to use the Logitech. Like, that's what the sponsorship deal says, right? He's on site. He's on site. He's on site. Yep.
No!
Oh! One tap. One tap. There it is. One tap, baby. And the plant. And the plant. And the plant. We love that out of you.
This is rough.
This is a question that I actually get a fair bit, and like I said, I'm not even the person to ask. Do you have a recommendation for like a first ever custom? Like someone who's never built a custom board, they want to get into the hobby. Like, do you feel like there's a good, like what's your like go-to starter board that you recommend people?
There's actually a ton now. Post-pandemic, a lot of vendors have been trying to make more beginner-friendly and budget-friendly products. Novel Keys has a 65% that you can get for, I think, under $100. There's the MK65. There's the Bakaneko from Canon Keys. I actually would not recommend the GMMK anymore.
Why?
The GMMK was great for its price and what it offered at the time, but there have been more competitive. I didn't even see anyone.
So then if I ask you, because I was going to ask, but you say that you're obviously, I'm going to flash you again, by the way, that you're not super into the pre-built markets. Do you not have any recommendations? People ask you for like the best like mass-produced keyboard?
I do. I generally like Leopold keyboards. The Niz Plum, or like the Niz keyboards, are also somewhat popular, especially amongst like StarCraft players.
All right, well, thank you, chat, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thank you for showing a warm welcome to Taeha, and yeah, hopefully play again soon. I'd love to.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, man. You can catch the full unmuted interviews streamed live right here on the theScore Esports YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm just Taeha Types on all the social media, except for OnlyFans. That's Taeha Types. I'm just kidding, don't subscribe there. I do actually have an OnlyFans, but I don't post anything there.
Do you have subscribers?
I have 2, which kind of sucks because I have to file taxes on it just for 2 subscribers, but